I want to take a few minutes and talk about your basic crucifix. So I have done a couple of videos that are related to invert preps, how to properly invert, how to do outside leg hangs, some of those kinds of things that are going to benefit you going into this. So I'm going to gloss over some of the basic, very first invert stuff. So if you have trouble, if you need me to point you to some of those videos or anything like that, don't hesitate to reach out. I just don't want to make this too long. We are going to talk about once we're upside down though. So I'm going to show you what your crucifix looks like, and then I'm going to come down and break down some of the finer points about it, and we'll go through it together. So this, so that I'm facing you, is your crucifix. Ta-da! Try to not let myself point that back foot. Okay. So, the big thing, some of the big things to know about as you're going into your crucifix. First, a lot of people when they first invert, they put their hands up like this and they do this whole swing and jump into it thing. It'll get you there, but it's going to be a lot harder. Specifically or especially when it comes to the point of actually making your points of contact to be able to comfortably be in and let go of your crucifix. So if you can, and if you have to work down to this, if you're used to that and you're going to work into doing this in a little bit more technique-oriented way, 100% okay. What we're going to try to do when we do an invert is bring our hip in front of the pole, like that. You don't have to get your whole butt cheek over there, but you want this to be able to clear the pole so you're not slamming it into the pole as you're trying to go upside down. Now, from there, I'm going to take my arm, bring it to the opposite wall, squeeze it down, and grab nice and low. Ideally, this is me framing my face. It's not up here, but like I said, if you're at a point where you've done some inverting, maybe at home by yourself, maybe at the studio that you're in or whatever the situation is, and you're starting up high, that's okay, but we're going to try to work those arms down because once you get up there, if they're here, one, you're having to use so much more force to get past your arms, and two, you're going to have your arms where your legs need to be, okay? So arms are going to be low as we go into this. Now, when you start to go into your invert, trying to semi-do these in order, but they may end up out of order. When I'm going into my invert, from here, what I want to do is shoot my hips up. My outside leg, which is always the one furthest from the pole, so for me right now, I'm using my right side, it's my left leg, is going to kind of hook at the ankle as soon as I can get up there. So, because we're assuming we're not at a full straddle yet. If you can straddle invert, fabulous. So I'm here, right? From here, I'm going to tilt my head back and push my legs and my hips up. So I'm going to shoot up. My outside leg, if you need a little push off of the inside right now, that's fine. If you can just tuck up, that's fine too. Outside leg is going to hook at the ankle, and I'm going to push my hips up like I'm trying to almost push them into the pole and shoot my feet up towards the ceiling. So I'm going to show you that part. I'll probably do this in bits and pieces. So I'm here, I'm ready to go. I'm assuming that maybe I'm not full straddle invert right now. So I'm going to give myself a little push off of the leg that's closest to the pole. Just assuming that might be where we're at, even though typically I teach tuck. So from here, I'm going to take my outside leg. I'm going to look up at the ceiling, try to put my ankle up here. Don't, especially if this is your first invert, do not think about what you're doing. And I know that sounds like bullshit, but if you think about, holy shit, I'm going to put my hips over my head, then you're going to get so inside your head about the fact that you're trying to go upside down that you're just going to get hung up and stuck. And a lot of people hit a wall right there. And it takes them a lot of time to get past that. So I don't want you to think about that at all. I want you to think about that ankle coming right here. And we're not going to think about above or below that. We're going to think about putting our ankle right there. So we're here. We're going to push off the ground, push, ankles there, and I'm going to shoot my hips up to the ceiling. Okay? So That's gonna get me in the right spot. Another issue that I see with polars when they start to do really any invert, whether it's your straddle or whether it's your crucifix or something else, is as they go into that, so their mind goes from pulling with their arms to pushing with their feet, and it completely stops thinking about arms, and their arms release, right? So that ends up looking a little like this. And what happens is you don't get to fully connect with your body because your arms just go whoop. So if you're trying to go into your invert and you're either thinking my feet won't reach, or you're thinking I get up there and I just slide straight down, or I can't get my knees connected, those things, I want you to focus on what your arms are doing. It's also really helpful to either record yourself or to have a mirror. Honestly, I'm so used to seeing myself in the camera that I realize when I'm in class, I don't even look at the mirror, which is not the best thing. But, you know, so you might try recording yourself with your phone to kind of get an idea of what's happening with your body. That can be really helpful. Okay, so we're gonna try to keep our arms engaged. Now, it doesn't mean that our chest is not gonna drop back, but I'm not gonna fully release my arms like this. I'm gonna keep them kind of tight even as I'm going back. Now, probably the most important part, what are your knees and feet doing once they get up there? So, my ankle's hooked. I'm pretending right now that this is me upside down. That's the ceiling up there. So I hooked my ankle, right? I got the other foot. So one foot is going to be in front. This is gonna be your viewpoint, right? We're upside down at this point. One ankle will be in front. This part, the little swoopy part right here, is going to be in back on the pole. So one foot is in the front. That's your outside leg. The one furthest from the pole, you're going to see your foot right here. The other one is going to come up right behind there. My knees at that point are going to grab, I'm going to show you, it's almost like you're in a climb, right? My knees are going to grab like this. So what's happening at this point is kind of right behind my kneecap, like this soft part right here. Hopefully I'm not too close to you guys. This soft part right here is going to make contact with the pole. At that point, once those knees are on there, I can stretch out a little bit, and my ankles, feet section and my knee section is going to hold me. What happens a lot is people are so focused on getting up there that they end up in one of two positions. They either end up with their knees nowhere near the pole, like this, right? Or trying to grab in front. But look, that's your contact point. So you have very little contact in this spot, or they end up so stretched out, right, that they're like not able to grip with the back leg. Okay, so, and if that happens, just bend those knees a little bit, stick the booty out. You want to get right behind the knee pit. So I can still see the pole a little bit in front, but it's going to hold me, right? Kind of right here on either side. Right along here and right here at the back of the ankle. Okay, so we're gonna get into that. And if you get that far, I know this is gonna be a long video, but there's so many little technical points that, especially if you're trying to learn from home and you're just watching videos, you're going to miss these pieces, right? So our knees are connected, they're squeezing right here. And you may have teachers tell you slightly different, and that's fine, but here, 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 and here are our contact points, okay? So 4 points of contact from there. Once we get to that point, we're gonna see if we're comfortable. And the way that we're gonna see if we're comfortable, and you can always start this very low, and if you have a mat, use it. There's nothing wrong with that. You're gonna start to let your arms kind of slowly release. And you're not gonna move your body around the pole yet. You're just gonna make sure that your feet and knees are comfortable in holding you. And at first, there's gonna be some pull and some pinching. So make sure you get used to that before you try to go from there. We're doing everything slow and controlled. We're not trying to rush into anything. We're not trying to throw our body around the pole because we'll fall on our head. We don't want to do that. So we're going to go into that. We're going to start to release our arms down and just see if we can stay on that same side of the pole and hold it. I'm going to show you that, and then I'm going to actually show you walking myself around into the full crucifix. Okay? So I'm going into my crucifix. I've got my arms tucked nice and low. I'm assuming we might still need a little push with that outside leg, but squeezing here, coming up, shooting up there, grabbing right behind kind of where my knee bone, kneecap area is. So the first thing I'm doing is just coming here, saying, am I comfortable? Am I good? Right? Can I let my hands come off here? This way, you still have a contact point kind of behind your armpit on the inside here. Now from there, I haven't died yet, so I'm good. I'm going to stay and practice that for a while. Then I'm going to take my outside hand, grab below my armpit, and slowly walk myself around the pole. I'm going to stay right here. I'm going to make sure I'm not going to die. Then I can release my hands. 2 bailouts from here. If you need to, put your hands down. Kick your legs down. You're good. If you don't need to bail out, you're going to, so we're here. This is me upside down. Boop. I'm going to walk my hands back just like it was before. I'm going to grab, walk my arm through, and then I can slide down to the ground. So I'll show you that too. I wore lotion today, so it's getting a little slick. Okay. So here's your second bailout. So you can always put your hands down. You're going to bring your legs to one side of the pole, and you're just going to come down from there, making sure you're pushing into the floor so you're not going to drop yourself on your head. Your other bailout. I'm here. I've slowly walked myself around. I did the crucifix. I'm so excited. I can take this arm back around, tuck back into my armpit, grab my hands back on the pole, and ever so slowly release, tucking my chin to my chest. Hard to do that and talk at the same time. And slowly let myself come down to the ground. Okay, this is a long enough video. That's a lot of tips for you. Let me know if you have questions. There are a lot of other ways out of that move, but that's just to give you 2 bailouts while you're learning it. If you need help, reach out, shoot me a comment, and I will get back to you, and I hope you guys have a really great day.